a lot of things are jokes, including me. But one of the biggest jokes of all is gaming journalism. Like, seriously, does anyone take what these companies like GameSpot and Kotaku and do they take what they have to say seriously? In the modern era, most people, including me, just boot up a video from their favorite YouTuber and decide if they're going to buy a video game or a movie from there. Heck, that's how I chose to buy most of my games over the years. Game journalism has slowly gotten worse and worse over the years, and it has also slowly become more and more irrelevant over the years. But at the face of this dying industry is IGN. Like I said earlier, nobody cares about gaming journalism, and nobody takes it seriously. But this goes tenfold for IGN. These guys are notorious for having the worst rating system in history, because their 1 out of 10 system it sucks. And they've given 7 out of 10s for most games over the years. They've also been plagued with controversy after controversy, and there are so many that I feel like I have to list them here. So allow me to give you a small sample into the controversies of IGN. With IGN, there's lots to talk about, but I think we should start with this controversy, the 7 out of 10 controversy. This is the biggest controversy that IGN has ever been in, just simply because it's still plaguing them to this day. If you didn't know, IGN is notorious for giving almost every game a 7 out of 10. Just let me give you a small taste. Starfield, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Far Cry New Dawn, and many more were given a 7 out of 10 at launch. Don't get me wrong. Fundamentally, I understand why they do this. If you look at the way 1 out of 10 ratings work, 7 means good. But honestly, that's just a dumb rating system. The IGN review system is just broken. I've never liked the idea of a 1 out of 10 ranking system because it doesn't really leave a lot of room to actually rank something. A good example is both Avengers Infinity War and Thor Ragnarok. For me, they both get a 9 out of 10, but that doesn't mean they're equal. So, in my world, I would give Thor Ragnarok a 90 out of 100, and I give Infinity War a 93. I know this is a really complicated system, 1 out of 100, but it allows you more room to really critique each project individually. If you want to reference in the video game world, I would give Arkham City and Arkham Origins are, in my opinion, very equal. They both give me 8 out of 10s from me, but they don't get the exact same score. I'd give Arkham City an 80 and Arkham Origins an 83. Using the 1 out of 100 score gives you more room for specifics and allows you to really dive into why one is better than another, rather than having a 1 out of 10 system that leaves you with no specifics and all the projects basically getting the same score. But yeah, another problem with this reasoning is that at 1 out of 10, there's basically no difference between 5 or 10. 5 just means bad, and 10 means good. It's really no big difference. But I also think that people perceive this problem wrong, because it's not that IGN is just giving out 7s. It's actually that most games kind of deserve a 7 out of 10, if I'm being completely honest with you. Most games, in my opinion, get either a 65 to a 75. For example, I think that, like, Spider-Man 2, which is one of the best games ever for me, gets, like, a 90. But a game like Gotham Knights gets a 70. A game like Sonic Generations for me gets a 70. A game like a Lego game will probably get a 70 from me. A lot of games just get 70s nowadays, and it's kind of weird. I just think that most games deserve that score. The problem is, if they change it, they'll have to change all their reviews, and it's not really possible. So although I understand they need a new rating system, I understand they just can't do it. It sucks because they kind of need a new rating system, in my opinion. And they did put out recently a video kind of explaining why they can't have a new rating system, but I thought it was kind of dumb. Their reasoning was that, of course, what I just said earlier, is that a lot of games deserve that, and that they're reviewing a lot of games. But reviewing a lot of games is not an excuse to give every game the same exact score. Like, I just feel like they need a new rating system in order to really become a better company in general, because the 7 out of 10 is just not enough. But like I said, they can't invent a new rating system, but they can't really invent their own reviews either. So let's talk about the Dead Cells controversy. Dead Cells was a rough light style game in vein to Castlevania, and it was released on May 10th, 2017 to all modern consoles including Switch, PS4, and Xbox. It was given decent reviews and was said to be a very fun game and worth the experience. And like many other reviewers on YouTube, IGN got a chance to review the game early and make their review public. But they weren't the only ones. Along with companies like GameSpot and Kotaku, Boomstick Gaming was also given the game early. And I want to make it clear, these are two completely different entities. Boomstock was a smaller YouTuber. Actually, he still makes content to this day, I'm pretty sure. And IGN is a $1 million company, whether you like it or not. So you think IGN, being a big company at all, would take the reviews seriously and not, like, plagiarize, right? Right? Nope. IGN was later caught plagiarizing Boomstick's review of Dead Cells by none other than Boomstick himself. And when he found out about this, he dropped a big video that garnered 2 million views and set the internet on fire. And when I say that they plagiarized the review, I don't mean they just took a little bit of it, maybe took some inspiration, said some similar things. No. The script is literally copied word from word. So here's an example.
You might not be able to make it to the final boss in your current run, but if you can manage to salvage some blueprints for some new gear, or better yet, an ability-altering rune, it makes it all worth your while even if you can see your death just around the corner.
You're almost guaranteed not to make it all the way through on every run, but as your efforts lead you to blueprints that unlock new gear, it makes it all worth your while.
This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. For an entire news agency to copy a small creator like Boomstick is outrageous. And I'm glad that the internet was able to come together and call him out, because this is just idiotic in general. But the aftermath of this was also completely hilarious. IGN later led an investigation where the reporter was fired, and they apologized publicly and created a new review that is on YouTube to this day. Honestly, this doesn't surprise me. And it made me realize just how little they pay their writers, because if you try to pull this, and honestly, it shows that they're on time crunches and that they really don't pay their writers very well. But not paying writers seems to be a pattern with IGN. The freelance controversy. This was an interesting controversy because of how stupid it was. It looked so idiotic to anyone of just any intelligence. Basically what happened was IGN put out a tweet on April 4th, 2022 that stated that they were looking for freelance writers on an upcoming project. All good, right? Until you read the whole tweet. Taking it word from word, this is what the tweet says. IGN is looking for a new freelance artist to assist in the daily flow of stories in games, entertainment, and science. $20 base rate per story, sliding scale on heavy reporting, DM with the introduction and portfolio. Putting it bluntly, $20 is no way near enough. Writing a story, script, or article takes hours of time and a lot of dedication to hone your craft. They basically want writers to work for absolutely nothing. On top of the fact that you can't make a mistake because it's a big publication like IGN. Just imagine the time crunch that comes with working with a company like that and only getting paid $20. Hell, this video took me hours to research and script, and I think if I were to write in this video, I'd accept $20. And I'm not a great writer, I'm not even that charismatic. But to pay somebody $20 for a big publication like IGN is just insane. But it gets crazier and stupider from there. Although this could be a great opportunity for someone who's new to writing such article development, right? Like, you can be paid a lot when you first get out of college or something, so it could be a good place, maybe $20, $30 freelance articles and working for IGN, right? Good little practice. But they want somebody who has a portfolio as well, which is insane. They want someone who has a credible history to work for $20 an hour. Not even $20 an hour. $20 for what? An equivalent of multiple hours. Not to mention that IGN makes a decent amount of money, so they can definitely pay a freelancer more than $20 an hour. I just find the situation funny, because if you look at the date, this came out on April 4th, just a few days after April 1st. And I think it's made a pretty good joke out of a company we call IGN. But like, there's no excuse for this, kid. Like, there's no excuse. This is just the most idiotic thing I think I've ever seen. But IGN hates their workers now, right? They also hate something else, Sonic the Hedgehog. If you could sum up a reviewer, any reviewer, a book reviewer, a game reviewer, hell, even a food reviewer, what one thing they have to have in common? Unbiased reviews. It's important for a company that releases reviews to be completely unbiased and has completely unbiased objectives, and also along with an objective viewpoint, so that you can decide whether to buy the game, to eat the food, to watch the movie, and so on. So imagine how bad it is when a company like IGN is biased and hates an entire series of video games, kind of like in this clip.
I think we're at the point where we need to admit that this was never really a great franchise, and that we keep trying to find this thing that was never really actually there.
Sonic was never good.
Yeah,
It was a 25-year lie.
Yes. I don't really understand why, but there is a segment of the gaming
community that really, really loves Sonic.
You can see the problem with that clip, right? When somebody is reviewing a game or series, they need to find the good and enjoyable aspects of the game or movie while acknowledging the flaws, such things that could be improved following the game. For example, I'm a huge fan of Insomniac Spider-Man 2, and it's, in my opinion, it's in the top 2 games of all time for me. But I can understand that sometimes the story is a little weird, and some post-game stuff could definitely have worked better, along with the game is buggy. Reviewers need to have a perspective to where they can really enjoy a game, but also acknowledge its flaws. So for them just to hate an entire series is completely outrageous. So when an entire company has it out for a series of games as big as Sonic, it's hard to argue that they're capable of creating a non-biased review. It's also pretty evident that they don't understand what makes Sonic fun from a standpoint of the fans, and they just think that Sonic is go fast and no skill. Hell, I don't even play Sonic, but I know that you have to understand the level to go faster. You don't just go fast from the start. Kind of like in this clip.
It wasn't until after the 15 hours I spent clearing all the story content that I was able to go back and start to find more efficient routes in order to get a better feeling of that speed. Still, that doesn't help the fact that everything feels a bit too slow out the gate for your first playthrough.
Like I just said, although I don't play Sonic games, it can be stated that this would be a problem anyway. If a reviewer only found the good in Arkham City, for example, the Arkham City Meat Riders, if the person reading the review could be tricked into buying a game they don't enjoy. For example, I'll use Arkham City again. Arkham City has an amazing open world, great combat, but its story is lacking. But if you ask an Arkham City Meat Rider, they'll tell you that the story is the best in any game ever, which is just not true. I'm sorry to say, objectively not true. But one thing I will say is that you shouldn't use reviews to decide to buy a game. Just make sure to read and watch more than one review. I would say 2 or 3 is good. And yeah, but although IGN hates Sonic, I'm pretty sure that they can't go fast in Sonic, which is a skill issue. IGN seems to have a lot of skill issues. Another controversy that IGN has been at in video games is just being bad. This honestly applies to every video game reviewer, though. Their job is to review video games if they don't have an ounce of skill. A good example is that guy a few years back who couldn't get past the Cuphead tutorial. And this is an editor's note, but I want to put this in perspective. That video I just did was at 10x speed. It took this guy a minute and a half, almost like a minute and 25 seconds to get over that one tutorial jump. And it's funny because although this wasn't IGN, it's worth noting because this reinforces the point I made at the beginning of the video. Game journalism is dying, especially IGN. They're out of touch and not useful to decide what to purchase anymore, because you can just watch a video. But also, I saw this clip online. It was really funny, of a 5-year-old beating this IGN reviewer. I'm gonna put that right here. I just thought that was funny, and I want to show it quickly because these IGN reviews are just out of touch, man. But if you enjoyed the video and because you like the topic, make sure to like the video, because if you guys like the video and you guys enjoyed this type of video that I have never done before, I'll make more of them. I'm hoping to make one on Paramount Plus, but I'm also hoping to cover gaming journalism in the future, just as an entirety. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll have an Iron Man 2 video out later this week, and a Captain Marvel video out probably November 8th. But yeah, I'll see you guys. And make sure to check out my Spider-Man 2 streams. They'll be going on. Probably going to finish up Sunday. And yeah, stay electric.